it isn't looking terrible for Outsiders. I know there's a lot of secret fans and a lot of people that have sort of backed here on the desk, whether that may be, you know, me or you, Gibson, Whippet, whoever it might be. This really is where Secret are going to get pushed and tested.
Of course it is. Of course it is. This is everything right now. But, I mean, is it really like, is it a test? Because didn't they just have this test yesterday? Or was that the mock exam?
I think that was the mock exam.
Is this the real McCoy?
I think that potentially could have been the, just the, oh my goodness, we've got like Inception going on in the Team Secret camera.
Yeah, it's just Team Secret. No players, just Team Secret.
The Esport Performance Center, as we saw yesterday on the interview.
It looks good, that place. It looks good.
That could be the edge, to be honest. Mm-hmm. What would you rather play in? Would you rather play in the center or with Pasha's wallpaper?
Oh, that's a staple, isn't it, of UL at the moment? It's that wallpaper.
I think that Pasha is single-handedly going to bring the wallpaper back.
Mm.
I'm not sure if that's possible, though. Let's have a look at the bans. Iana, Ying, Azam coming through here. Where do we like for the final ban? A little bit of flexibility here on Oregon these days. Secret going to move the Valkyrie. Probably quite a wise choice, especially given the way that Valkyrie played so far by Outsiders. Still on that demo, would you like to have seen a mirror remove, maybe?
Mira's up. Solus is up, which I think is certainly an operator that I think both sides can play. I think we've seen kind of Dan jump on it a few times, haven't we, throughout the course of the competition so far. And we know, I think I kind of mentioned about Solus yesterday and just how powerful that she can be. So yeah, certainly bans that you could look for, but yeah, Mira being open, not really the opting that for Secret though. One big one has to be Kai. That's who we have to mention. Very strong on Origin for the basement, good at getting the hatches. Obviously, I know that Thatcher's open, but even still, like Thatcher isn't as like he's not as you know, enjoyable. I think just simply because of the change where he's now 1 speed. I think that's for me personally. It's just personal opinion. I don't think he's that fun anymore, just because he's just slow, and I don't like slow people.
Single-handedly, you know, all you got to do is make somebody slow, and that's really a nail in a coffin for an operator here in Siege. Yeah. Nobody likes slow operators. It really is just a fact of life. Everyone wants to move quickly, and here in Siege even more so. So we'll see how that affects moving on into the map. Obviously, we've got Outsiders here starting off on their attacks. You kind of brought it up a little bit earlier, Demo, that Outsiders, they do like to attack in a single way, and they played Oregon back in the day to great success. And it was the same take every single time, slow and steady, just repeat that. Now we've got a few more tools in the arsenal. We've got a couple of alternate options here that you can try to bring. I'm looking at joystick. The Nook has been allowed through. That, of course, brings a couple of nades and a little bit of quiet movement with it.
Certainly does. And yeah, like you mentioned, this is a staple back in the day for this side. It was always about Oregon. They done, like, it was probably the best Oregon team that we had at the time was certainly this side. But as you know, times have changed. And we'll see if they can still keep at it. So, anyway, Secret, as expected, you're going to want to anchor for this side. I think whenever you have the kite open, you don't need to go out and look for the fights. You can just play the hatches, waste a lot of time. Obviously, they have an Auric, so I think they have the potential to sneak upstairs via Big Tower and then straight into Attic. If they want to go for that and maybe look for a late rotation above. Would Outsiders let that happen? I mean, Outsiders, I think, have been a little bit hit or miss with the flank watch, Ollie, which is probably the only concern that I've had throughout the course of the weekend.
Yeah, the flank watch hasn't really been there, has it? It's been something that's a little bit lackluster. Maybe a little bit more focus on that moving in, especially against Secret, if they are going to start to get a little bit more active and a little bit slippy. And for the meantime, Got everybody fairly well stacked up onto site. You really don't need to roam all too hard here defending into the basement, especially when you've got the tools at your disposal the same way that Secret do. We've got a couple of Whammies, a couple of ADSs there. That's going to do a job to soak up a lot of the damage. Savage getting himself in an early engagement there, just preempting that Nook crouch walk down into Freezer. Took a bit of damage for it, but he's still alive, and more importantly, he's still got his Toxic Babes.
Does indeed. I think Secret having that first pick on an anchor defense works out really, really well. Grubby, as he went unchecked, oh, he looks away, but then looks back and finds his kill. A 2v4, this is going to be a struggle for Outsiders. Dan gets shot in the back by Grubby, and oh, if there's one boy, if you're Outsiders that you don't want to see in the feed, it's going to be Grubby. We see what he did yesterday. He was a showstopper in all regards in that Navi game only, and he's continuing it today.
Got the confidence from Secret there as well. Slebin just coming in to clean up that last kill. Times of the essence. They could easily just wait that one out, but instead they're getting the job done nice and early. I like to see a little bit of aggression there, especially when it's calculated like that. A very clear call. Grubby getting away with murder as well, Demo. Unchecked, unchallenged, and just allowed to swing wherever he likes. Bit of a dangerous start there. Secret, they must be feeling fairly good about the way that round has gone at least, but this is a best of 3. We've got a long old series ahead of us, but they can continue now in their sweep of Oregon.
I just think that this team, this Secret team, they've hit the stride, and as we know, and I think in competitions, in tournaments, right, I'm gonna probably raise a few eyebrows with this one, okay? It's in my opinion, it's a lot harder to play in a league than what it is in a tournament. Because I think a league, it's over the course of, 3 months. Consistency is key. Because everything, your week just in life changes week to week. Whereas I feel, in a tournament format, like Majors, like Invitational, like this, for example, all you need is just a bit of form for a couple of weeks, and you're in. A couple of days, you're in. That's the way I look at it. I look at NIP, and I'm going to come back to NIP 1, right? Mate, I was the messiah for a long time, saying that team is going to drop off. They had one good tournament, and that was it. Me and Pengu's the only two who agree on this, right? And it just shows that it doesn't matter what your form was before or after. All it takes is just that, that one little thing, and then you're in. I think you can probably look at TSM. TSM weren't really doing much before Invitational. And then they went and win the whole thing. And then where did TSM go after that? They dropped off, didn't they?
It ties into the other argument of we've not had a back-to-back winner for a long time. That form is so hard to find.
I'm telling you, competition form is just... It's a different kettle of fish compared to consistency they have in leagues.
Dan going to get the opening pick onto Savage. Savage just getting caught out there. Grubby doing a little bit of damage control, just popping one of the Vulcan canisters to buy himself a little bit of time. He knows he doesn't want to challenge onto that upside down repel, but gets a peek onto Pasha inside of Armory. The utility doing a good job of soaking up the pressure that's coming in. His playable shield is going to keep him safe for now, and he's managed to get himself out. Kendry playing with that breach open with a pocket reinforced, so there is potential to maybe get that set back up as he Toxic Babe canisters just to cut off a bit of sight and a bit of access.
Taking their time, Outsiders, just seeing if they can find the picks as they come. Realistically, Dan was thinking about pushing up the Armory stairs and getting Trophy, which, as we know, Trophy, great position, I think, for both attackers and defenders to have. Of course, defenders, you can just straight up deny them getting inside a bedroom, stops them getting in and opening up the closet wall. As an attacker, that's going to be your main breach. It leads you perhaps into attic if you want to, and obviously just into sight via the door. They've dropped off, though. This is one thing you'll also see, I think, from Trophy players, is whenever it hits around about, the minute, 30 minutes, 20, and you know that the attackers have, burned a lot of time and they still don't have bedroom control, just leave. Just leave. Because this top floor, it's not as easy to attack, I think, compared to what you look at, obviously, the third bomb sites, kitchen, dining. It's a lot more compact. You don't really have the luxury of having these big long angles that you can sit and wait and open up these big breaches. You have to challenge angles. You have to push in an Oregon. That's why it's an aggressive map. That's why gun skill is a lot more important than this one, because you just have to challenge. For example, Dan, he's swinging on an open door into 3 different crossfires. It's difficult.
So far, the shotgun's doing a lot of the hard work here. Kendrick, Grubby, Sleb, and they're all having a go. That rotation up those white stairs, just allowing outsiders to come into the site ever so slightly. Secret doing a good job of keeping outsiders at bay. As you say, Demo, gunfights, it's the most important thing on Oregon because everybody knows where the utility should be placed and is placed and needs to be placed. Everybody knows that, you know, how that is going to play out on the whole. It all comes down to winning your gunfights, and you roughly know where people should
pick your
be.
moment.
Pick your moment. Finally, we're going to see a little bit of mirror play. It was only going to be a matter of time with Valkyrie and Azami, two bands in this map. We were going to see a little bit of mirror action. Secret.
Solace.
Yeah, Solace in the picture as well.
A really strong lineup coming out of Secret. I think this is gonna be tricky for outsiders to break down. I think Hyde plus mirror combinations always gonna be a scary thing to go against. Solace, mentioned before, can be great in Oregon. Get a lot of the pre-placed drones gone. You know, you think about teams who'll have the pre-placed drones inside a big tower to get in there quickly. Even downstairs in lobby, being able to check if the classroom is clear and then again slip somebody in there. That's where Solace is really good in Oregon. It's able to go in, get the pre-placed drones, and then the attackers have to go all through that process of getting the drones in. And especially for Big Tower, because Big Tower is probably one of the scariest parts of this map, right? If you're an attacker, because you know, right, Big Tower, it's going to be difficult to drone because the only way you can drone it is you have to get a drone through a window. It's not as if a staircase you can go up, so it's one way that you have to drone. And if there's a guy up there, we know that Big Tower can be somewhat troublesome for teams to deal with. And not being able to have that early information, being able to say, okay, Big Tower's clear, get in straight away, it does waste a lot of time. And time's a big thing in Oregon. Like I mentioned before, Ollie, with, you know, the angles you have to swing into. The drone work, you know, you need to know where these angles are, and if you don't have the drones and you don't have the time to do so, you're going to suffer.
There's roam game to be cleared out here. Pasha leading a lot of that charge. Still always going to be opting for a bit of a big tower take, but Secret have dipped off that quite quickly.
What do you think of this? They're not only defending kitchen dining, which is probably out of the two, meeting and kitchen and dining, this is probably the fourth pick. I think meeting is more favorable. But not only are Secret going for the unfavorable site, they're even extending into meeting as well. It's as if they're trying to hold 3 bomb sites at one time, Ollie.
Sometimes that's the way that you've got to go, because we all know that there's key rotations, there's key points in the map.
I like the Kai claw on the hatch, though, inside of Attic. I think that's great, because generally...
Savage, go on. Get himself out the window.
See, that's again Solace with the Claymores. This is really good from Solace.
It's so good. This is where Solace is incredible.
See him on the cams.
It's such unreal. A freebie, man. Joystick. He's going to fall. Shepard finds one back. Savage set himself up. A beautiful one there. Just maintain an advantage here for Secret as well. We're going to see Shepard start to move through. We do have Dan in with the skeleton key, just ripping open a lot of that floor, seeing if there's any lines of sight that he can find. This thermic charge is going off now in order to gain a little bit more access, but there's no reason for Secret to be stood in B at the moment. They don't need control of this bomb site when they can hold it from the periphery. Astro, he's got an option to make his way up white stairs now as well. That is if Dan doesn't search him out first with more skeleton key through the floor. Very difficult when that top barricade is reinforced, because you're looking at a single hatch here. The flood comes in onto site. Savage, he's rotated himself back round. Shepard, sorry, picks himself up one. Currently left in the clutches. Shepard did a big day yesterday. He's only got 20 seconds to make something happen here, though. Going to try and get the plant down. There could be information. There's at least an impact nade coming with his name on it. And Astro with a final swing through security to finish the job.
That was such a good round from Secret. Because I love the idea. Obviously, it relies a lot on outsiders going for that approach, which is a sweep on the top floor, and then looking to gain control of hatches, looking to gain control of kitchen. If that was just a full small tower side take from outsiders, it definitely would have been a different round, but then they would have been pushing the mirror window, so again, difficult for outsiders. So instead, they say, okay, let's ignore that. Let's go for the sweep. Let's get in upstairs. Let's clear out kitchen, and then we'll just drop and plant. Remember I mentioned that the extended into meeting there is as if they're holding 3 bomb sites. Look what that extension done to outsiders. One, they couldn't get open the hatch inside of Attic, so meeting was safe to sit in. You know, we seen the kite in there for the majority of the round. No pressure, no worries at all. Everyone was upstairs towards kids. And as the time starts dwindling, outsiders know, okay, the only thing we can do is drop hatch. That's going to be our main way of getting into the bomb site and getting the diffuser down. But if you're dropping, not only are you having to deal with the players inside of dining, because remember, they're holding shower, they have the mirror windows, there's going to be people inside dining, but as you drop, you also then have the meeting guys to worry about. So you're sandwiched in. You have guys in dining, you have guys inside a meeting, and you're stuck in the middle inside a kitchen. So there's nothing outsiders can do. You can't take 2 assaults on either flank. You're going to have to pick one or the other, and then you're going to get refragged from the other side. I thought that was a great round from Secret. I think obviously the Solus was in display. I was playing a bit of Siege yesterday, right? And I had a Solus on my team. And keep in mind, and whenever I'm going to say this, they may be professional players of them, right? I seen a Solus get killed by a Claymore, and I'm sitting there thinking, what? How's that been allowed to happen? Take notes, please, people, because come on, that's as easy as it is for Solus. That's how strong she is as an operator to do those kind of things.
It's one of the things that you called out yesterday, is you'd like to see people, using Solus in a little bit more of an aggressive manner.
Because it's not just a drone hunter. It can do that.
Yeah, and Savage, so picture perfect there from Savage. It really is one of those situational things. Look, they're back down to basement. He's back on the smoke. He doesn't need the Solus this round. They don't need to be playing that with that little bit of extra aggression. Goodness, I think back to Oregon. Oh. My grubby! It's so free for him.
Oh, this is just...
Oh, the everything as well. Oh.
Everything is going right now for Secret Ollie. See, I mean, this is just that. I don't want to say the word luck, but that luck, just everything
it is though, isn't
going
it?
for you. Everything is going for Secret right now.
It is lucky. You've got to be lucky as well. Right place, right time. The more you do it, the luckier you'll get, but you just gotta have that little bit of an edge on your side, and so far, Secret, they've got it. They're in the right place at the right time. They are really psyching out outsiders here. They've not even been able to get access. We've only got joystick in on these white stairs. He can roam up here for all he likes. He knows that everyone's going to be back down on the site by now. Secret have got 2 picks inside of the first minute. They've removed the Flores. They've removed the Amaru.
Where do you go?
Dear me. What do you do now? Especially if Astro grabs that one, which he will. And another Astro, please.
Go on, get your 4th. Go on.
He's not even got himself out a meeting yet. Always finds one, but it's an exit frag if ever you've seen one, right?
4 people dead in 80 seconds from Outsider's perspective. Yeah, look, I think always you can see there, he's just taking a pause. Because that's what they need to do. Use this as a timeout, Outsiders, because their head's all over the place. If you looked at that round there, for example, it just screams that they're getting tilted because they're frustrated that they're not winning rounds. And they basically tried to win rounds by solo pushing and everyone's trying to be the hero. Amaru, in the big tower, gets killed. Then we seen somebody swing on into flag, from armory stairs. Again, killed by himself, no refrag. Then we see a nuke walk in, bang, dead. Again, no refrag. It's been a recurring theme that I've mentioned about Outsiders. There's no refrag potential on both attack and defense.
It's one of the biggest problems when you're not able to trade back that kill straight away. You need to be able to find something there. Always probably just going to wait out the clock a little bit here. There's only 40 or so seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
Time for a little bit of an impromptu tactical timeout as Medics tries to make us feel like we're on a merry-go-round or something.
He's just spinning. We're popping Goyo canisters for fun, are we?
You can see Pasha actually, having a little bit of a conversation there. Shepard getting involved in the discussion as well. Dan, he's being a little bit vocal. There's obviously a plan being formulated, something being discussed here.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you've got to do as a team. You can't always just rely on the single timeout that you get per game. You've sometimes just got to, use the impromptu ones that you get. And if you have a terrible start to a round like that, and it genuinely is extremely unlikely that you're going to win the round, take the time. And that's what they've done. Hopefully for them, it'll do something. I wouldn't be surprised, and if it was me, I'd probably back that up with a timeout called now to extend that conversation and really just put a stop to this. Also
keep in mind the next map, Ollie. It's border. If Outsiders struggle in Oregon, what are you going to do in border? I mean, we've seen it yesterday. They struggled in border. And this is what I'm talking about with the map pool.
Yeah. The map pool
it's just... Oh...
And even then, if you stumble through border by some miracle, what happens on bank?
That's true. It's one of Secret's favourites, isn't it? That's a good map for them as well. Everything just looks good for Secret right now. This is just, I mean, Hey, can we talk about Twister? You know, what he's been able to bring to this team? Because can we also just keep in mind, like, whenever Twister arrived at this Team Secret team, they were in shambles already. You know, they were a bottom of the table team. Not much more you can say about Secret. How many players have they had in through the doors of Team Secret? A lot.
It's been a revolving door demo.
You know, you've got players coming in and out all the time, and you know they go into this stage. And the thing is that you could say about Team Secret, I think, in this stage, is you could see the immediate improvement from the last split. And I think, again, you can see the immediate improvement from the last split to now. They're just steadily getting better and better. And consistency, I mean, that's the whole thing I think you can say about them this weekend. They have been so consistent. And consistency, I value over everything.
And they feel like a team. It really does. You know, you get that sort of team sense in the way that they're playing.
Yeah, the structure makes a lot of sense. Like, everything's formulated well. I think you obviously, you know, Kendrew on the support. I think Sleben kind of is wingman, isn't he? You know, if Kendrew's there and if Sleben's not far behind, and then you've got the young ones, you know, doing their thing.
You got the young gunners doing their thing indeed. Savage this time again is going to be playing in on that Solace. This time Joystick, knowing what happened the last, is going to send a drone in looking for him. With the drone being taken out, just turns into a straight up gunfight. Joystick's on a pretty nasty angle there, but Savage has got a very easy out. If Joystick's going to have to keep droning that for himself, he's quickly going to run out of utility. Whereas the outsiders that will throw the kitchen sink at a single roamer, I guess it's not here in this round. Dan finds some early success, takes Astro out. It's going to be a big swing here. It's one of the first times we've seen outsiders actually get that opening pick.
Yeah, opening pick. Yeah, interesting point there about Always. He's on the fuse. He's using the fuse to basically go through the mute jammer inside of Attic and then open up Attic wall. Thatcher's open, boys. Like, surely does that not make it a lot easier? That's just, you know, they do things like very complicated over here in Outsiders, it seems to be, but it's worked. You still, you know, you end up with the same plan. So you've got Attic open, you have main breach open. Right now, as big window control is probably what you're after, and it's good to see Joystick over on that side of the map. I think in terms of a nuke on the top floor, I think it's difficult to really get value out of the operator because, you know, again, you're pushing in the doorways. The gadget's not going to be, you know, really doing much in that regard. Oh, now that has completely killed the round off. That's 2 players dead. The 2 bedroom players are gone. Primarily that being Shepard. The main man is going to have to get that diffuser down. He's off the board. Big C4, but always in response with a kill on his own. And now it is a 2 versus 3 for Savage and Grubby to deal with.
There's still quite a lot to do here for outsiders. Dan maybe picks himself up another, but immediately is traded. Diffuser now cold. Grubby, 17 seconds to try and hold on. Gets a glimpse. Joystick, he was doing rings around Oregon there. He started all the way off near big window, ended up over on the bedroom rappel, and ends up coming in through the bedroom door. Right place, right time there for outsiders. I thought the C4 was really going to be the clincher there, and to be honest, Demo, it should have been. Joystick was having a big problem there, finding anywhere he felt safe to play. Savage was doing a really good job on the Solace of just keeping him busy and deterring him from playing on that main window, so they didn't have that main double window presence that they were really after. And then as soon as the C4 comes in, you think, oh, we don't need to worry about that side now either. Just a couple of big impact kills from Dan are enough to switch it.
I would say that Always probably had the most important kill in that round, because that's the Attic battle. That straight 1v1 shootout. Same way that we mentioned about Clubhouse and you know, Blue Stairs and, you know, pushing in towards Generator, that can really tilt the game. Equally said for Attic, it is just a straight 1v1 shootout. Whoever wins that just gives their team a massive edge. Always eliminates the man inside of Attic. That then relieves all control. It lets the breach players move in. It lets the player on trophy door move in, take that challenge. Because, you know, without pit control, without Attic control, that's one big angle that the attackers don't need to worry about. Whereas if Always loses that, Sleben's in that position, then the remaining 2 players are walking into a three-ray crossfire, and you don't win those.
Spec you active.
Not easily, that's for sure. Outsiders finally finding a little bit of success here. On the balance of things, a 2-4 split really wouldn't be the end of the world for them. They're able to get themselves into gear and really start to shape up. There is certainly time in this Oregon still.
Yeah, they need this round. 5-1.
I think they need this round. There is no doubt about that. Not sure about the Nomad, honestly.
It's been a fair few roamers for Secret. I mean, look what happened through the last time that we've seen them here. They're, you know, Secret were kind of starting off aggressive and then dropping back, and then obviously using the extra room inside of meeting to fall back to. This time, which I'm happy to see, is that we're seeing a switch up from Secret. You know, making sure that they can keep Outsiders on their toes, because you'd probably be looking at this all and thinking, oh, well, surely this would be, you know, maybe basement, you know, would be an option for them perhaps. And again, you know, maybe going over towards the kitchen as well, which works so well for Secret. But no, they're keeping them on their toes. They're now going for the meeting hold instead. So they're going for all 4 bomb sites in this game, but not working for them all. That's 2 frags gone for Secret. And Outsiders, this is probably the best round I think that they've had so far. This is good control now. All they need to do is get the drone work done and finish it out. And you would expect Outsiders, with how they have performed, where they are in these good positions where they have these man advantages, it's very rare you'd see them slip up.
Yeah, Outsiders just really need to go through the motions here, and they're going to continue to do that. Dan from above shuts Kendrew down. Dan was a bit of a menace in the previous round, ripping open a lot of that floor, and now that they've got the advantage to do so, it's going to be made all the more easier. Pasha swinging that hammer, seeing if there's anything that he can find. Astro knows he can't sit anywhere that has a soft ceiling above him, so he's just hiding out at the moment at the top of those freezer stairs, but it really is only a matter of time. It seems as though Joystick's got a good read as to where he is, and with the plant going down, it really turns it into a difficult situation. Savage, Astro, got to try and move through, but when you can't even make your way into the bomb site, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Looking like it could be a flawless here for Outsiders, and he's done a great job of turning this around so far. 1 kill will be found, but as we know, those vertical angles are being held. Astro gets a little bit unlucky there, just missing his shots, but is likely going to get finished off very shortly indeed. That floor continuing to get ripped open here by Dan, playing Battle of the Bars, and slowly but surely the net tightens eventually. Pasha dishing out the final blow.
Yeah, clinical Outsiders, isn't it? They just have that good start, and you're not stopping them. That's one thing about Outsiders. If they know what they want to do, they will perform it to a very high standard. So 4-2, it's not too bad for Outsiders. I think an Oregon defense is generally what you're after. 4 defenses is usually the norm. But who knows? Who knows what Secret have in store for us? They went for a very different approach, Ollie. Look at their lineup. We're seeing Kenny on the Monty. Even, you know, Grubby on Twitch, which is an operator that I haven't... I don't think we've had a chance to mention, Ollie. I think she's very, very strong at the moment. I think with Mira usually slipping through the ban phase a lot more these days, especially on a map like Oregon, where Mira can always be an option. I think very strong to have Twitch in the pool. You know, just general good for ADSs. WAMI discs, whenever you know that you're probably going to be focused on a blue take, being able to pick off 1 or 2 ADSs is monumental for that burn.
5 seconds left before...
Yeah, it really does come down to that ability to burn through that utility. And as though the Twitch has stuck here along with that Flores, they are going to have a lot of that capability, and they're going to need it, like you mentioned. Going up against some significant utility there. We've got the Vulcan Shields, we've got the Malusi Banshees, Cade Claw potentially.
No nades, which is the only worry.
Well, yeah, with the Maverick being brought instead, the Cade Claw isn't going to be too much of a problem, and like you say, you may want to try and sneak some nades into that. For me, this push lives and dies on Kendrew, on the shield. That being the thing that's being brought, you go in the typical, air quotes, proper hard breach, you're giving up nades to bring these other things. That really needs to work, and it needs to work quite well.
Yeah, I love this attack from Secret. It's your standard bread and butter blue take. You get yourself in towards the meeting. They have the Nomad for that reason. Nomad, you would only really be brought in just if you have the suspicion that there's going to be roamers. If you know the team well, I think Dan has showcased that he will go for a roam if he can. So I think it's good to see the Nomad be brought in. But he's on a kite. I don't know how much roaming he's going to be doing with that. But yeah, it's your standard blue take. I prefer this so much more over Laundry Freezer. I detest Laundry Freezer takes because I think the success rate is like 2 out of 10. It works. It's really easy to gain control of the hatches and gain control of the map, but executing into laundry is just, it's so tricky. 1C4 and your goose is cooked. Whereas I think you see a lot more success rate with the blue takes in terms of getting the plant down also. And with Monty available, it's going to be really easy to push into elbow.
There is a little bit of utility to get through. They've got an ADS and a Banshee to try and deal with. I think Onflora's drone has already been sent in. It went a little bit too deep to get the ADS. Shepard doing a great job of cleaning up the third there. So the utility for Savage is really now starting to dwindle. No one putting pressure on Shepard, so he can literally just stand there and make good on that TCSG, shutting everything down. Kenny is going to probably deter. No, the C4 goes behind him, takes a huge chunk of damage, and they're actually going to push up quite aggressively.
Savage!
Savage, what are you doing? You're caught looking the wrong way. The drop comes in, the button has been pressed, and Secret start to trade back. 2 versus 2 here. Grubby might be able to find himself one here. Kendrew knows exactly where one of them is and needs to try and feed that info across. But they're essentially only dealing with one gun, whereas Outsiders have 2. Pasha, he's on for a 3K. Kenny's dropped the shield, he's into the ADS, trying to see if he can find anything, gets a glimpse. We all know Monty is extremely slow and extremely loud. This is going to be a tough engagement on the pillar. He's really hoping for a headshot here.
Oh, no.
Finds a little bit of chip damage, but it's not going to be enough. 15 seconds left to go. The case cold on the floor. Kenny, try as you might. This one's looking like an impossible task right now. Put some damage on Shepard. Gets the down onto Pasha. 4 seconds. Shepard's got to keep himself alive. Kendrew's really slow here. Can he free fire? Oh, Shepard tucks himself in. Buries himself into the corner. That was far closer than it ever should have been.
If Kenny had won that, by far, the best Monty play that this game's ever seen. That was a millisecond away from greatness. First of all, I'm actually surprised that he didn't kill Shepard. Remember whenever he was like kind of dancing around pillar and he kind of pre-fired the head holes and he blitzed him with about 4 shots, but he didn't die. Oh, that's a rough one. And then the Kendrew signature drop shot Monty, which we see all the time. Oh, it was so close. Oh,
there's definitely a few to look back on there
from Kenny. But hey, as good as that was from Kenny, some serious communication issues from Secret there. Savage caught in the wind. He's a balloon just in the wind. He's up in space. Well, I don't know how. Like, I mean, is it did Kenny not tell him there's 2 people pushing me, or maybe he did and Savage just focused? I don't know. The drop happens. I think was it Nomad just dropped into E-box without anyone assisting.
It was a panic drop. It was definitely just a panic go, and they had to do it.
Attackers need to
muddled comms. There was obviously a lot of confusion there. And the C4 really wasn't part of the plan.
There's 2 C4s thrown at him.
Yeah, 2 C4s thrown. One went close and one went deep. So Kenny was really caught in between a rock and a hard place.
I thought he was dead.
Stayed alive by half HP, but it was also a good play from Outsiders to not just throw the C4 and dip back, but aggress through that and be like, we're going to throw the C4 and we're going to swing it.
Because you know for a fact that if you know there's going to be a Monty pushing blue, there'll be maybe one guy. Because you know 2 people will be in the hatch, 1 guy pushing down blue stairs. There's very rare that you would have 2 players alongside a Monty going into blue. So yeah, like you said, good play from Outsiders in hindsight to take that 1v2. But yeah, just what you say, unlucky Kenny.
Unlucky indeed.
Good game, this.
You are expected to win your basements, but you're not expected to win them like that.
Yeah.
Oh, sit down, Astro. Dan's feeling himself here.
10 and 6.
Starting things off there. It's an awful peak to die to as well. That main door, you just feel so useless. Sent to the cameras pretty much straight away. I want to see more of that from Outsiders, Demo. This is exciting Siege that they're now starting to play. They're getting a little bit more risky. They're getting themselves out there.
Yeah, Asher will be kicking himself that he's fallen for that one. But yeah, Dan, the confidence that he has to go for the swings. And hey, one thing about Dan, if he is having a game, he's having a game, Ollie. You know, put that in an asterisk there. He's terrifying on his form, you know. Dan is, again, likewise with joystick, consistency has been key for that player. Grubby, don't forget about him. Still chugging away there with the kills. Finds Pasha.
His ears must have been burning there. He was like, I've got to do something.
Yeah, from Savage almost catches him as A very late reinforcement happens. And they've actually got the left side soft. And that does give them an angle. This is, I don't know what's happened with the setup there from Outsiders, but yeah, that was, oh dear.
That's not one that you want to fall into.
For what reason?
That is not a swing that you want to be dying to at all. Good patience being shown here from Secret. There is a lot of opportunities in this setup. Joystick, he's cut off all the way.
Does Joystick have a rotate back into Attic? Does he have a rotate? I think he does, doesn't he?
He does have a rotate.
Doesn't matter now.
Doesn't matter. The kills are flying through. Slevin! He's gone on a bit of a tear inside of that round. Great couple of snap kills for him. I tell you what, the info game there for Secret, top notch. They knew exactly where everybody was in those dying few stages, and they took a good advantage from what was a terrible setup from Outsiders. They still had 2 reinforcements, Demo. I
don't know what was going on there. Like, the entire main wall wasn't reinforced, and
it's not even like they ran out. They still had 2 in pocket.
I don't know, but that was too easy. That seems far too easy for my liking. I mean, Secret don't care, they'll take it. I mean, Secret just kind of sat back and waited for Outsiders just to give themselves up. There was a couple of silly challenges there.
Round number 9. Definitely one of the more back and forth games we've had. I feel like I've finally got my blood pumping a little bit here, Demo, in these qualifiers. We've seen some...
enjoying this.
Bomb located by attackers.
We've seen all the teams have, you know, good times and bad, but this is 2 teams that are really going at it here. I really want to see how Dan uses this Solace, because we've been a bit critical of how Solace has been used. I think back to the way that we saw Acqui play it for Makers, the way that we've seen Dan play it as well on Chalet earlier on today. It didn't really strike us as the sort of quintessential Solace play that we're expecting. I want to see it played how Savage plays it. That's what excites me.
Well, Dan is having a good game, so maybe the Solace plays will follow him with that. So we're going to go, of course, that third bomb site. Outsiders just wanting to move away from bedroom as quick as they could. Look at the lineup here from Secret. This is going to be a green window jumping, isn't it? That's what they're going to go for, because they have a Gone 6 that they can just pop the window immediately, or even just use the Gara hook into the window, and then also have the Nook sneak in from the west side, because that player inside a kitchen, all his attention is going to be with these green players. Here comes Kenny in, has the Amari, but no, shut down by Pasha, holds his ground, but Slevin with the LMG gets the refrag. Shepard, is he looked away at the wrong time? Yes, he has. There's Grubby finds 2. The timing's worked out for Grubby. Astro, he's looking about upstairs, gets shut down by Always. Oh, great shooting from Always. And Joystick also above. What's just happened, Ollie?
I've no idea how both these 2 teams managed to come out that 2 versus 2. Savage, he takes the bull by the horns upstairs and puts an end to Always' reign of terror. Hits a lion scan for good measure. He's on 1 HP. He needs to be careful there. The player over at the top. Joystick just going to find him for free as he's been on a nice little rotation. Now the diffuser is cold in the site and Grubby can now collect. Well, the vertical angles are going to do him dirty. Joystick, what a rotation there. The call was there. He's lit upstairs. Go finish him off and use the vert. And that's exactly what Joystick did.
Big 1v2. Big 1v2 from Joystick. The rush. No, it's coming from a mile off. You see an Amaru, and it's not going in big tower. It's going to be going for that green window any day of the week. And yeah, the Amaru goes in. Even though Kenny lost that first engagement, as long as you get the refrag, it's not too bad for a rush, especially when we know there's only going to be 1 guy in kitchen. But you have to credit the reactiveness from the players of Outsiders was tenfold there to make sure that they stop anyone else coming in towards kitchen. I have to say, I think Astro dropping that kill against Always was the kicker.
It's a one that you need to win, isn't it?
I think that's the one that swings the balance.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be giving yourself too many 1v1s when you're going to rush like that. You want to try and stack the odds in your favor as much as possible. But you've got to kill the vertical player because he holds the key.
Especially whenever Always wasn't even looking at him.
And not only have you got to kill the vertical player, but you've then got to hold the vert, because as Joystick showed, it is the key. It's the win condition for the entirety of the round. Outsiders firmly on the bite back here. Managed to pick up a couple of rounds in a row and poised and ready to level things up here for the first time. Secret on the flip side, they need a little bit of success. It wasn't a terrible attack last time we saw them attack downstairs into basement. It was just a little bit messy. It all came down to a 1 versus 2 for Kendrew when he was on the Monty, and you know, you can't really rely on those going your way ever. No surprise to see it change. We see him bringing the Capital this time.
Yeah, a change up. I think whenever you see the Capital, you immediately think, okay, laundry freezer take has to be. The Capital's great at rooting out players in tricky positions for that laundry freezer. Think of the freezer box where you see Pasha playing. You can obviously get a Capital arrow fed through that, and that'll clear away that position. In behind the laundry machine, just tucked underneath the other one, the other laundry machine. You know, the one beside the rotate medics? That one, there you go. Get one in there is good. Obviously, the smokes is always going to help with an execute. So yeah, I think laundry freezer is definitely going to be the go-ahead. However, mirror windows, that's going to be the biggest factor that you have to burn through on this attack. You can see both of them set up, one for laundry, one for freezer. But who knows, maybe they're actually going to change up after seeing those mirror windows. Obviously, you have the options to go for it. But they're going to open up every hatch that they can, give themselves as many options. I think they've just opened... Okay, so they've left laundry hatch, so it's only going to be E-box and also freezer that they have at their disposal. Okay, actually, it's not going to be the laundry freezer. It's going to be the blue tape. Maybe they were looking to bait in outsiders saying, oh, guys, quick, they're going laundry freezer, rotate, rotate, rotate. But no, they're going to stick with the blue. No mirror windows on this side, so that's obviously going to help them quite a bit. But I'm curious to see where these Capital Hours are going to be fired in from. I would assume Shaiko Door, because that was the tricky position. Remember, always played a blinder here last time.
Well, he's not going to be playing a blinder here. Slevin puts himself into position and takes him out as the slew of utility flies on through. Grubby, he's making his way through freezer. He's got a tough job with this mirror window, but it isn't even being played. Pasha, he's on the wall and he's going to find the frag. Kills trade either way. Slevin and Savage pick up kills back to back. 3 versus 2 in favor of Secret. Shepard, he's got himself in onto Elbow. He has 1 Toxic Babe canister for a whole 45 seconds. None of the mirror windows here are going to be able to assist him. Slevin, pretty low HP. Quick swing there from Savage. He's going to see an end to Dan as the skeleton key rips through him at close range. Shepard sends out his last Toxic Babe as a Hail Mary last-ditch attempt to keep the Wolves at bay, but it is not going to work. His position, now known, Kendry, softened up just a little bit through that elbow rotation. The diffuser is called on the ground, so we do need to be going for the kill here. Yeah. Kenny collects and Slevin finishes off.
Yeah, good round there from Secret. Much better, Ollie, in terms of the communication department. Good execute, I think, from the guys on blue. Very important kill. You have to add in to Grubby, being able to win that engagement against Always. Again, Oregon, it's all about winning those gunfights, and the big one, Blue Stairs versus Shaiko Door, and well, he wins that, and that gives them good freedom then to try and drop in towards E-box, and then also helps the guys who are pushing in towards blue. Just winning that one engagement opens up a lot for the attack. And then also, I think we've seen the Nuke, was the attempt of just having a backstab, but didn't do anything. But still, Team Secret being able to push it over the line. So they respond, Ollie, with a good round back in their favor and their match point.
Certainly when they needed it, they've not gone the easiest way around these things, but they've still managed to get themselves onto a match point. Important map to win as well when you look at going up against outsiders. We've spoken about the maps and where we think different teams have different advantages. This is one of the maps that we feel that outsiders have the better chance on here in the first 2. Whether it's this or Border, you would certainly put your money on outsiders to win Oregon over a Border. We're bringing out all the tricks in the book to try and get this one into an overtime, which is of course the only way that outsiders come away with a win here on Oregon. Capcam being brought from Dan. We're back to a shield. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about this demo. I don't really like the shield. I don't really like the rush. Dan! Single shot! No! Kenny takes him out. Is immediately downed, but that's the damage done. It's the opening that we were looking for Secret. Still managing to crawl himself through. Shepard doesn't really know which way to turn. Please don't burst after the kill. Nobody there to hit the direct trade. And now with the diffuser cold, this really just hasn't worked. We're going to find one onto Joystick, but still the job is not done. Shepard, he's there to battle back and nobody knows about Always. Can he land? Yes, one, but not enough. Astro there to take him out. Equal man count advantage now at 2 versus 2. Shepard close range trying to spray with that TCSG for all he's worth. Astro, he's going to be hidden here on side of Pillar. The diffuser has been collected now by Grubby, but there's no way into sight. They're going to be pushing a single doorway here at best. No nades left for Astro, and we can see the outsiders, they're going to be playing from deep. They have not one, but 2 C4s to stop this plant from going down. Astro going to push himself in ever so slightly. Grubby just looking to challenge now onto that long. Shepherd takes a load more damage here, and you can see that Grubby's going to push through and finish him off, taking it down to the grave. Astro finds the last on to Pacha. The rush eventually pays off, although we got teased a little bit on the way. Secret, they weren't able to find much success during the early part of their attacks, but toward the end they really turned up the pressure, taking Oregon there in a nail-biter against outsiders.
I'm telling you, Slabin just activated during those attacks, Ollie, for the blue. Great point from him. Grubby there, as always, but everyone from Secret putting in a shift. I love the way that Secret approached that Oregon on the attacking half. One thing that we've highlighted about outsiders is they're still stuck in the ways. Rushes are a big weakness that they seem to struggle with. Makers exposed that tenfold during yesterday's game against them, and I think Secret are playing it the way that you would want them to attack outsiders, keep them on their toes, use the rush strategies. That's the way Oregon can be played. That's where we talk about maybe the map pull and some of these maps where you can go for these rushes. That's where outsiders get caught. And they did today. They definitely did. And that's Oregon done, which was outsiders' pick. Now they go on the border, which Secret beat them. You know, Secret were happy enough to play them again today as what they did yesterday. And it was very comfortable for Secret yesterday.
It's turning into a long old day for outsiders as well. Got to bear in mind they have already played a full best of 3 to get to this point. And now they are faced with not only taking and suffering quite a tough loss to swallow there on Oregon, because it really could have gone their way. They've now got to move in onto border. There is loads to talk about there with Oregon that we've just seen. It's one of the best maps that we've seen this entire weekend. We're going to chuck this one to a short break. And then when we're back, our analyst desk will break it down for you.